Good morning students. So I think you all completed the 10th standard. So today we are going to the 11th standard. This is the first video for you. So you have been chosen the group. So for which group do you belong to? So you may get chosen Maths Computer Science or Commerce Computer Application. So for both groups you will be having the computer as a subject. Okay. So you will be having 6 subjects. So Tamil, English, Maths, Physics, Chemistry and Computer Science. So this is for Computer Science group, and the next group we will be having, the Commerce group will be having Tamil, English, Commerce, Accountancy, Economics and Computer Application. So you will be learning 6 subjects. So I will be a computer teacher. So computer I will be handling for you both for Computer Science and Computer Application. So this why I am saying that both groups is the first unit is very common. Okay, there is the same for Computer Science and Computer Application. So the first unit consists of 5 chapters. In that 5 chapters is common to both Computer Science and Computer Application. Just it is an introduction to computer. What are all the parts of computer, how the computer works, like that the basic things are given in the first unit. So that is common to both Computer Science and Computer Application. So both of you can see this video. So it will be very helpful for you. First, in Maths Computer Science you will be having 2 volume. Okay. So it consists of 2 volume. So first volume consists of first unit 1 and unit 2 is in first volume 1. So in volume 1 you will be having unit 1 and unit 2. Okay. In unit 1 you will be learning the basics of computer or introduction to computer, and in the unit 2 you will be learning the just introduction or a pre-process of C++ program or the OOPS concept, the class concept, like that. Okay. That will be the introduction to, and the second volume you will be learning full the language C++. Okay. In second volume for Computer Science group you will be learning the C++ language. Second volume is full of the language C++. Okay. So this is the content of your Computer Science you are going to learn in the 11th standard. Okay. So it consists of 2 volume, first volume and second volume. Second volume is full of C++ language. First volume is just an introduction and the common part. Okay. And for computer application, those who are studying commerce, accountancy and computer application, for them also you will be having the 2 volume. Computer application also you are having 2 volume. The first volume consists of unit 1 and unit 2, and in the second volume you will be having 3 units. Okay. So in the first volume you will be learning, first unit consists of the introduction to computer, and in the second unit you will be learning the Word, Excel and PowerPoint. Okay. Word, Excel, that is spreadsheet, and the presentation PowerPoint. These 3 of the things you will be learning in the unit 2 of first volume. Okay. And in the second volume you will be learning the internet concept, HTML and JavaScript. Okay. So in second volume you will be learning internet, HTML and JavaScript. Okay. Don't think that you are going to learn many things. Just it's everything will be a basic thing for you, the HTML and the JavaScript. Okay. So it will be very easy for you, and you can, if you score high marks in computer you can, and it will be the easiest subject for you. Definitely you can score high marks in computer, so that it will boost your total also. Okay. Definitely. So I think everyone can get above 90 in computer. In the last group also, final year also they have got. So you can also do it. So keep concentrate on studies, students. So this is a don't give up in 11th standard, as you can get only high marks in 12th standard. If you get marks in 12th standard, it's enough. Don't have that such concept, because what you are learning in 11th standard, the basic thing only will be learning in the 12th standard. Okay. So what you are learning in 11th standard, so that will be, it is a basic concept for what you are going to study in 12th standard. So don't give up and don't be very slack. So the world is going on a crisis, you know, the COVID-19 crisis. So in 10th standard itself you got the marks by the quarterly and half-yearly marks. So what anything may happen, any part of system may get inside. So each and every day you be concentrating on studies, and for each and every test you have a keen approach and study well. Okay. So let us go on to the first volume, first unit and first chapter, that is introduction to computer. Okay. So, first volume unit 1 chapter 1. So, introduction to computers. In this first you will be learning the generation of computers. Okay. So, how the generation of computer? Do you know in what generation we are? So, we are in the 5th generation. Okay. So, generation of computers. So, in a computer has from where it has been started and in from which generation we are in and how many parts it has been came out of it, we are going to see. Okay. So, there are now we are in 5th generation, the future will be the 6th generation. So, you will be having 6th generation. So, let us see the first one. First generation. So, in your book it will be given as a tabular column. So, I will just explain. If you read it, definitely you will understand. Okay. So, in first generation it was in the year from 1942 to 1955. Okay. So, 1942 to 1955, this was the first generation. So, from the second generation it was from 1955 to 1964. Third generation from 1964 to 1975. Fourth generation is from 1975 to 1980. Fifth generation from 1982 till date. So, that is now we are in 5th generation. And 6th one, that is going to be in future. So, 6th generation is going to be in future. So, first generation is from 1942 to 1955. You must write this year when you are writing in your exam. Okay. So, first generation 1942 to 1955, second generation 1955 to 64, third generation 64 to 75, fourth one 75 to 80 and 1980 to till date is the 5th generation and future will be the 6th generation. So, it will be very easy to memorize because 55, 64, that will be nearly 10 years gap it will be there. Okay. So, first generation. So, when did the concept of computer came? 1942. Okay. So, in this they made a computer, but it was very big in size and it consumes lots of power and it also make the room or the entire environment heat. Okay. So, in first generation 1942 to 55, they used vacuum tubes. Okay. In 1940 to 55, its first generation, they used vacuum tubes, and what are all the merits and demerits considerable means it consumes lots of power, it makes the environment very heat and it was very large. Okay. And here the machine language was used. In first generation, the machine language was used. And now coming on to the second generation, it was from the year 1955 to 1964. Here they used transistors. So, what was the component used? Transistors in second generation. So, in second generation transistors, it was smaller and the heat was very less when compared to the first generation. We cannot say it was very less, but when compared to the first generation, they consume less power and the heat produced was also very less. Okay. And here in the second generation, they use machine language and assembly language. Okay. They use machine language and assembly language. Okay. Now, third generation 1964 to 1965. So, it was in the year 1964 to 1975. So, here they used integrated chips. IC chips we will say no, that is integrated chips concept were being used in the year 3rd generation 1964 to 1975. So, here we used only the high level language. So, in first generation we used what type of language? Machine language. In second generation we used both machine language and assembly language, and in third generation we use high level language, and in the third generation we came to know create about the OS. Okay. So, you know operating system you might have been learned. So, this is the OS concept was in the third generation. Okay. And in the fourth generation 1975 to 1980, here we used microprocessor and VLSI. Okay. That is very large scale integrated circuit. Very large scale integrated circuit. Okay. So, this concept was used in the year 1975 to 1980, that is the fourth generation. Okay. So, here we came into the concept of IBM and Apple, such computers came into the applications. Okay. IBM and Apple, it was came in the fourth generation, that is from 1975 to 1980. They use very large scale integrated circuits. They consume less power and the heat produced was also less when compared to the previous generations. Okay. And the fifth generation is from 1980 to till date. Okay. Here we used ultra large scale ULSI. Okay. So, ultra large scale integrated circuit. Okay. Ultra large scale integrated circuit, that is ULSI. So, in fourth we use VLSI, that is very large scale integrated circuit. In fifth generation we use ultra large scale integrated circuits. So, in this there were parallel processing. So, when we are hearing music also we can see another document. So, now we will be doing the work parallelly. So, therefore, parallel processing were used, semiconductors like concept were used, and then voice recognition came into the fifth generation. So, what are all we are now using in that present? Okay, it is in the fifth generation. Okay. In sixth generation we are going, what will be in future? So, in future how the generation has to come. So, the main concept is the language process. Okay. It is the computer will be ready to understand the human language, that is going to be the upcoming in the future generation. So, the system can recognize the human language. Okay. So, it will be very user. So, nowadays we are when we want to search anything we are just speaking to the Google, isn't it? In mic we are speaking and it goes to the browser and search the particular topic. It is also similarly voice recognition. Similarly, other than that, okay, and the concept will be coming in the future, and then the robotics. So, it is in the sixth generation, it is going to come, and moreover in medical also there are many fields they are going to have the computers, so that it will be doing the surgery even. Okay. So, such sort of things are in under process, in future we can expect them. Okay. So, the robotics, voice recognition, human language. Okay. Human language can be understood by the system. These three are the main thing that has to be going to be in the sixth generation. Okay. So, till this we have gone through how the computers have came crossing many generations. So, we are now at present in the fifth generation. So, in first generation it was from 1942 to 55, and 55 to 64 was second, 64 to 75 was third, and 75 to 80 was fourth generation. From 80 to till date is the fifth one, and future we are going to have the sixth generation. Okay. I think you will be very clear about it. So, this one will be the 5-mark question, explain the generation of computer both for computer science group and for computer application group. So, if you want you can write it in a first generation, second generation as a paragraph, or it will be given in your book as a tabular column. So, the first generation, the year, the component used, and then the merits or demerits will be displayed. You can also write the same table which has been given in your book. So, I think you must be clear with the six generations of computer. Okay. So, next we are going to learn about what is computer. So, okay. So, first how does the word computer came? Okay. Compute, it means it's for the word gives the meaning of calculate. Compute means what? Calculate. So, the person who does the calculation is the computer. first the computer was given to the human. First who does the calculation was called as computer, and then when the later process came on, so that when we came to find the computer, the name was given to this machine. Okay. So, the person who compute, that is who calculate, is known as a computer. As this machine does all the calculation, the machine was given the name as computer. Okay. So, this is the computer word, how it came. So, it just, what does the computer do? It gets the input from the user, it processes the data and gives the output. Okay. Just if you want to 2 numbers, we get the 2 numbers, that is the input. We process it. Processing means what you are going to do with this 2 number? We are going to calculate, that is add. Okay, that is the process, and then we are going to give the output. What will be the output? The sum will be the output. Just this is the simple one that I am selling. Just getting the input, processing it and giving the output. Similarly, it does many types of calculations. Okay. So, next we are going to the concept data and information. So, what do you mean by data? Data and information. What do you mean by data? What is the difference between data and information? So, data is a raw fact. Okay. So, that is 16, it is a data. Okay. Raj, it is a data. Okay. Computer science, it is a data. Computer application, it is a data. Data means it is a raw fact, that is it is not being organized or mixed with any other thing. It is a thing that it gives a value, just a data. Okay. But what is an information? When these data combine, they will give an information for us. Okay. So, if I am having computer science and Raj and the 11th. So, Raj of 11th standard is in computer science group. Okay. This forms a information. Okay. But what is the data here? Computer science, Raj and 11th is the data. When we combine this and form so that it will give an information. So, data is a raw fact and information is the one which when the data gets combined, it gives an information. Okay. So, this is the data and the information. Okay. So, next we are going to see about the components of computer. So, you know very well, somebody might have been learned computer up to 8th standard. I think 9th and 10th you might not learn the computer as a subject, but up to 8th standard you must have learned computer. So, you might have learned the C++ language or C language, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Some of you might have learned, but somebody may not have learned also. So, this is the concept and the basic concept that is in the unit 1. So, just undergo what has been given, because we have to write the test on this. So, do not leave it this only I know. So, please have a concentration on this. There will be a 2 years gap also, I think. So, be concentrated on this. So, next we are going to see the components of computer. So, components of computer. Okay. So, what is how does a computer works? So, input unit. So, when we are giving input, it will be the control will be processed through the main memory, the data what you are giving the data, it will be passed to main memory, and from main memory it will be going to the internal memory. If you are giving a particular program to save, then it will be move on to internal memory. If you are going to save this in the secondary memory, then the control will transform from main memory to secondary memory. So, what input or what process you are giving, according to that the data will be moving from one part to another part. Okay. So, in input unit we will be giving an input data. First it will go to the main memory. If you want to save in secondary, it will save in secondary, or if you want to save in internal memory. So, from main memory first it will go to internal, and then if you are having any arithmetic logical unit, that is if you want to perform any calculation, then it will pass on to the arithmetic logic unit and it will do the calculation, and then it will give to the internal memory. Okay. So, like this only, and then finally the calculated value will be given to the output unit. Okay. So, in this form only the data. So, the arrow here denotes how a data has been moved from one part to another part of a computer, and we get the output. So, first a data from input is given to the main memory, and then if it goes to the internal, and then it has if it has any arithmetic logic unit, it does the arithmetic logic calculation and then it comes to the internal and then it comes to the main memory, and from main memory it goes to the output unit. Okay. So, this is how our data gets processed. In the same thing, control unit. This control unit, it controls all the components that has been displayed. Okay. It controls the input unit, it controls the secondary memory, and then it controls the internal memory, it controls the output unit, it also controls the main memory. Okay. That is the control unit. So, in your book, the control part will be displayed in the blue color and the data part will be represented in the red color. So, you can find the difference. So, the input unit, the arrows denotes how a data has processed and also how the control from different components gets accessed. Okay. So, so this is the main diagram. So, when you are asked to write a question or explain, if you ask the question, explain the components of computer, you have to draw this diagram. Okay. You have to draw and then you have to explain each and every part of it. Okay. So, let us see first what is an input unit. Okay. So, input unit, when whatever the data we are giving or what are all the values we are giving to process them is called the input unit. Okay. And then next one, controller, that is CPU, central processing unit. I think you might have known CPU. So, in our system there will be a monitor, there will be a keyboard, a mouse, and then the left side a box will be there. No, that is a CPU. You might have known, again I am saying it. So, that is a CPU. Within the CPU, what are all there? Control unit, arithmetic logic unit and internal memory. Okay. So, what is a control unit? So, control unit, it gives access to all the components and it controls all the components of the computer. And next one, ALU, arithmetic and logic unit. What is ALU? Arithmetic and logic unit. Arithmetic and logic, that is ALU. So, as per the name, it does the calculation of arithmetic calculation and logical calculation. What do you mean by arithmetic calculation? So, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, that process of doing calculation is done using arithmetic one, and the logical unit means and or not. So, okay, you will be learning in the upcoming chapters. So, that type of calculations are done in the arithmetic and logic unit. And next one, internal memory. Okay. So, there are two types of memory, main memory and secondary memory. Okay. So, main memory is volatile. That means, what do you mean by volatile? That is, the data which has been stored here will be removed when we switch off the system. Okay. The values will be in the main memory, but when we switch off the system, it will not be available there. Okay. But in the secondary memory, though you switch off the computer, the values will be available there. Okay. So, that is volatile and non-volatile. Main memory is volatile and secondary memory is not volatile. Okay. So, secondary memory means those we are saving in hard disk, pen drive, that is all the secondary memory. So, main memory is the volatile one, it gets erased also. Okay. So, there are two types of memory, main memory and secondary memory. Main memory is volatile and the RAM, we say that is the main memory. Okay. So, and then the secondary memory and then the output unit. So, what do you mean by the output unit? So, where does we see the output? We will see the output in the monitor, isn't it? No. So, it gets processed and it gives the output. The output can be viewed through the monitor. If it is an audio, we can hear, video we will be seeing. What else is? Okay, it may be any type of output unit. Okay. So, the input, it gets processed and then it gives the output. While processing, what are all the units available are? In CPU, we are having 3 units, control unit, arithmetic logic unit and internal memory, and in there are 2 types of memory, main memory and secondary memory. Okay. So, these are all the components of computer. When you are asked to describe or explain the components of computer, you have to draw the diagram and you have to explain each and every component of it. Clear? Okay. So, next we are going to see, so how does the system gets work. Okay. So, first if in an input unit, if you are giving an value. So, now I am going to add 2 values A plus B. Okay. So, first we will in input unit, what we will be giving? we have to give the two values A and B. Okay. So then it will check the main memory, it will go and then it will that there is an plus symbol, it means there is an arithmetic, you have to do an arithmetic calculation. So next it will pass on to the internal and then it will goes on to the arithmetic logic unit. Okay. In arithmetic logic unit, it performs the addition A plus B and give the sum value to the main memory. Okay. And then from main memory, the output in the monitor, the result will be displayed. Okay. So in this process only it gets access. Suppose if you want to save a file in secondary memory. Okay. If you insert a pen drive and you want to save a file from the computer to the pen drive, then what will you do? You will go exactly to the memory where the file is and you will click the file and it will move on to the secondary memory. So at that time only these two components will be having their role. Okay, the all other components will not be having their role. So according to the user instruction, what the user is giving, if you want to add, if you ask the system to add, then it will move on to the particular unit. If you want to just store the file in a secondary memory, then it will move to the secondary memory. If you want to get access the control, then the control unit will do. Mainly the control unit will control all the components. Okay. So if you want to display, the output unit will be there. So as per the user instruction, what we are instructing the computer to do, it will do as such. Okay. So this is the components of computer and the working part of it. So today we have learnt about the generation of computer. There are 6 generations. Now at present we are in 5th generation. So and then we have learned how does the word computer came. It came from the word compute, it means to calculate, and then who does the calculate is computer. Okay. And then we have learned about what is the data and what is the information, and then we have learned about the components of computer. So I think up to this you must be very clear about it. Thank you students.